Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, put some insight into what it all means. Today, we've got a special guest host. You might know him, John Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the Collider Video Studios here in Burbank, California. And hot damn if we're not happy you're joining us today.
Also, we hear host of Collider Heroes, Jon Schnepp.
What's up, everybody? I'm very happy to be here with this super crew.
Also here, host of Jedi Council, Kristian Harloff.
I'm also happy to be part of this super crew.
What? What is that?
We were doing these evil voices, I guess.
We've got another special guest. It's Jeremy Johns.
Hey!
I got a round of applause. I'm the only one here. John came back here to host this today, and I'm the one who got a round of applause. I don't have an intro as cool as any of these people, but I'm also happy to be here.
Well, hey, listen, guys. As happens sometimes, you know, the crew goes through a lot of work to get this fine list of topics, and then something comes up at the last second, like a trailer today. Ashley, what do we got?
After Paramount Pictures unveiled the mysterious teaser for Denis Villeneuve's sci-fi drama Arrival last week, the full trailer is now available. One mysterious spacecraft touched down across the globe. An elite team led by expert linguist Louise Banks, played by Amy Adams, are brought together to investigate. As mankind teeters on the verge of global war, Banks and the team race against time for answers, and to find them, she will take a chance that could threaten her life and quite possibly humanity. Arrival also stars Jeremy Renner and Forrest Whitaker. Arrival will play at this year's Toronto International Film Festival and Venice Film Festival before opening in the U.S. on November 11th. John, what are your thoughts on the new trailer for Denis Villeneuve's Arrival?
My interest level in this film, honestly, has been pretty minimal. Obviously, the cast has me intrigued. The director has me intrigued. And whenever you talk about aliens visiting Earth, there's something to that, but I haven't really been excited about it at all. I mean, I put it on the same level as, I don't know, just any number of films that you hear are coming, and yeah, maybe I'll check that out. This trailer's great. I loved it, because a part of me was anticipating the stereotypical big giant alien ships land and then all hell breaks loose, right? And it's not. This feels a little bit more like a thinking man's Alien Arrival kind of movie. The performances look solid. I love the fact that there seem to be several layers of drama going on, not just between our prime characters and other prime characters, or our prime characters and the aliens, or the aliens and themselves, and mankind against. I mean, there seems to be so many different levels of drama involved in this that each step kind of had me going, this actually looks surprisingly good, and all of a sudden, I'm finding myself digging it. Anyway, Schnepp, you saw the trailer. What did you think?
I loved it. I mean, it's had elements of Close Encounters. It had elements of 2001. It had an epic, kind of very adult feel to it, which I really appreciated. I love science fiction. I especially like highbrow science fiction, and this didn't cater to, just an action audience. This is definitely the thinking man's or thinking person's film, and I loved Amy Adams in it. I thought the entire crew and cast is great.
Yeah.
Also had elements of Twilight Zone. Everything about it felt new and refreshing, so I cannot wait to see this movie.
I love that you mentioned 2001 too, because even the ships themselves, when they're landed, they almost got that monolith kind of a feel to it.
It had that monolith / Prometheus kind of flavor to it. It also had a lot of like callbacks to different kinds of science fiction films from the past, but told and spun in a new way. So that's what was refreshing to me. And when we saw the teaser last week, it was like, please don't show us the aliens. And the way that they revealed the aliens a little bit in this film was refreshing, different, and it was, everything about this trailer has me completely pumped and excited to see this film.
Somebody also told me that the ships kind of remind them of the shape of my head. I'm not quite sure how to take that, but anyway, Kristian, you saw the trailer this morning. You did a little bit of reaction to the trailer this morning. What did you think about it?
Yeah, Schnepp and I both did a reaction and review of the trailer, and I'm with you guys. I loved this trailer. I thought that if you told me that Denis Villeneuve was going to make a science fiction alien movie, that's exactly what I would kind of picture it would look like. It's gorgeous, but it's cerebral. There's everything that you kind of want the movie to be. It's not a Roland Emmerich movie, and nothing against those movies, but we've had a lot of them. We've had enough of them. You're absolutely right. It did have a kind of homage, and yet still felt original and familiar, because you get some of those, the District 9, the 2001. There was a bit of Close Encounters of the Third Kind in there.
You had mentioned The Abyss as well.
The Abyss, when she touches the screen. The Abyss was another one that I kind of felt. And I also am very happy to see Amy Adams front and center in this movie, because this is the type of movie that she really excels at, to drive this movie forward. And I also am hoping, and we kind of got that a little bit in the trailer, that the aliens aren't necessarily the bad guys. I don't think we need them to be the bad guys in this, because that's not what this movie's pitching. It's not pitching an alien invasion. It's pitching about what happens to humanity because of the alien
that
invasion.
we know of.
That we know of.
Right.
So, but because of when it comes out in this November date, it gets me excited.
Jeremy, what do you think?
I'm miming everything you guys already said, from the visual to the 2001 references to I just even like the simplicity when they go up into the ship and they're upside down. You don't know what down is up or up is down. I just think that's just a great representation. But yeah, it seems like it's going to be a movie that shines a mirror on humanity more than the aliens themselves. The aliens are going to be a device where if there is hostility that happens between the aliens and us, it's going to be because of us. And it always makes me laugh, like when she puts her hand on the glass and you see the hand come. Just jokingly speaking, that first interaction, I'm like, what if that's an act of war? Like, what if, like, to them, putting your hand on glass to, like, oh, okay. It always, like, in Independence Day.
Oh, it's on.
Right,
yeah, in Independence Day, when the helicopter goes up and starts flashing its lights, what if it was like, we declare war on you, and that's why they wiped us out? You know what I mean? I was thinking about that stuff. But I really do think it's going to be, a thinking man's alien movie, not a destructive movie. I feel like it's going to be destructive because of humans. That's just my speculation.
Amy Adams walking through a narrow, dark passage into an alien ship. She was expecting to find Superman, I think.
I was also going to add The Day the Earth Stood Still. This also has those kind of echoes where it's like...
Not the Keanu Reeves
not the
version.
Keanu Reeves version.
The original Robert Wise 50s one. See that, Gort? Come on. But yeah, you reminded me of that a little bit of, like, it's up to Earth to react the right way.
All right, what do we got next?
Sausage Party opened huge this past weekend, which was a surprise to almost everyone, even for Sony Pictures, that pegged the R-rated animated movie opening in the low to mid-teens. The film blew predictions away with an opening haul of $33.6 million, so no surprise Seth Rogen is already teasing a sequel. Speaking with Fandango, Rogen said he hopes to make a sequel as well as launch another string of R-rated animated films. He discussed the potential concept that begins with the original ending that didn't make the theatrical cut. That ending saw the food items step through a portal to meet their live-action counterparts, played by the voice actors themselves. Rogen explained, "It's something we talked about, yeah. That's one of the reasons why we took away the original ending, because we thought, well, if that was the first scene of the next movie, it's probably not what you would want it to be, with them just seeing us and finding us, basically. But the idea of a live-action/animated movie like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit style hybrid is also very exciting, mostly because Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of my favorite movies of all time." Rogen also said that he has other ideas for some R-rated animated movies that he hopes to do if Sausage Party becomes a hit with audiences. Seeing as the raunchy comedy already made its reported $19 million budget back and then some, after only one weekend, it appears that Rogen might just get his wish. John, what are your thoughts on a Sausage Party sequel in the vein of Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Here's the interesting thing. I'm one of the rare people that wasn't really thrilled with Sausage Party. They did have some really big laugh-out-loud moments, but then I found they kind of went back to those same jokes a little too much for my personal taste. Yet at the same time, I find myself very intrigued by seeing them do another one, because I liked what they were going for. And I liked the type of irreverence they brought to it, the absurdity they brought to it, the seemingly total shamelessness about it all at the same time. And I like those aspects of it. And I think for them to go back is something I would be intrigued by, especially by the idea of seeing them come through. Look, on the surface, it sounds like the sausage goes through and he meets Seth Rogen. Okay, that sounds like it could be kind of 1 minute, 2 minutes long, but we've seen Lights Out do that. We've seen Lights Out take a short concept, make it long. So while I'm not a huge fan of Sausage Party, personally, I'd be into seeing this. Anyway, Jeremy, what did you think?
I think I'm glad that he made a Who Framed Roger Rabbit reference, because I saw that movie recently. I just had to see if it was still good, and it is still very excellent. So I would look forward to a movie where it kind of happened, didn't it? Like that guy took bath salts and spoiler alert. The guy takes bath salts. He can now see the world that the food is from. So it'd be like that, but like this meta humor that I always dig and enjoy. And the movie cost like $7 to make, and it made much more than that. So I enjoyed the hell out of Sausage Party. I thought it was great. I do agree that they went, I mean, it's kind of repetitive, but it was repetitively fun for me. So, yeah, I'm down for it. I'm down for a Sausage Party sequel. I say bring it on.
Kristian.
I would definitely be up for a second one. I'm kind of in your camp to where I think that if you liked this trailer and you wanted to see the movie, then you should see this movie. And I also think that it's a great point, the fact that look, before this movie, Team America was the top rated R kind of animated movie that had ever come out. And I hope it does start a trend. I hope that Seth Rogen and his team are able to make more movies, not just in the Sausage Party realm, but in other movies too, because it's a cool genre to be in. I think there's a lot of options to have some cool rated R animated films. So Sausage Party 2 does make sense. I personally think, and this is kind of speculation also, one of the reasons they didn't do that ending originally wasn't because they were thinking about the sequel. I think it's because they probably thought it was too similar to the Lego movie. Because the Lego movie, at the end,
true.
it's
Good
the
point.
it's the same exact ending, and they probably said, well, let's hold back, do our own thing. But as a sequel, as a full feature movie, it could work, especially if you're going to start pitching it as Roger Rabbit in the R-rated thing. It could be a lot of fun. It's different, and they could maybe not just play on just the food items cursing the whole time. But I think that's a smart idea, especially for the amount of money that it made.
Schnepp, you hear them talk about, some ideas they have for a sequel. What do you think about that? But also, we talked a little bit about how cheap it was to make. There's a little bit of controversy going on about that. So, number one, what do you think about the idea of a sequel? And then what do you think about this controversy going on right now as far as the animators?
Well, I haven't seen Sausage Party yet, but I'm a big proponent of R-rated and adult animation. I've directed a ton of it. I love seeing it. I went and saw Fantastic Planet and Heavy Metal just last weekend. And
by the way, he's very good at it.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, I'm very happy I can't wait to see Sausage Party. Him talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but in an adult setting. Imagine them going to Foodland and all the food products hating them. You're going to eat us. It's like there could be a war between the humans and food. I mean, the ideas are incredible. Whatever they do next, I can't wait. But there is a little controversy about the studio that made Sausage Party and the mistreatment of animators, whether this is true or not. I mean, we've been hearing some certain animation sites have been reporting that some of the animators were treated unfairly and their names were left off the credits. So if that's true, I mean, that has to be rectified as soon as possible. You can't take people's names off credits, especially if they worked on the film. We don't know if it's true, but I hope it's not. I've being part of the animation community, animators work really long and hard hours. They work weekends to make these kinds of films. And them being mistreated really offends me at the deepest core, so I hope it's not true.
Yeah, and going along with the controversy on that, like one of the allegations, and again, we don't know if this is true. These are anonymous reports that have been coming out, and it's important that we emphasize that. But like some of the stuff in this report was like, one of the reasons they were able to make this film for $19 million, which made all of us, when we saw the budget, go, they made it for how much? Was that animators were forced to work long overtime hours and weekends for no pay for those overtime and weekends, and threatened that if they wouldn't work those overtime hours for free, then they would be fired. Reports that like over 30 of the animators walked off the project at some point.
Right.
I mean, if any of that's true, and we cannot emphasize the word if enough, but if it's true, it certainly is really concerning, disappointing, and something that we really have to keep our eye on in the visual effects and animation world moving forward. All right, Ashley, what's next?
Next year's Justice League will see Henry Cavill step into the Superman suit for the third time on the big screen. Now it seems the suit will look a little different this time around. While the Superman uniform remained pretty consistent from 2013's Man of Steel to this year's Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, Cavill is teasing what his next outing as the Man of Steel will look like, and it harkens back to one of the most popular storylines in Superman history. Taken to Instagram, Cavill shared a picture of what his new suit will look like, and while the image is only a close-up, the rumored return of a black-suited Superman from the Death of Superman storyline has seemingly been confirmed. Justice League is directed by Zack Snyder and set to debut in theaters on November 17, 2017. It also stars Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, and Ray Fisher. Schnepp, are we getting a Superman from the Death of Superman comic line in next year's Justice League?
It certainly seems that way. I mean, Batman v Superman kind of opened the door by covering the death of Superman. So it was literally the first part of that comic book series where Doomsday did kill Superman. They integrated it with a lot of other stuff and kind of crammed it into that film and left us with him being buried, the actual funeral scene, and then some magic dirt kind of floating up before they cut to the credits, leaving us all to think, okay, well, Superman is coming back. We all knew he wasn't going to stay dead. We just didn't know how long he was going to stay dead. And then we see reports of Justice League. He's back. Henry Cavill's over there. Some of the shots of him with a beard. We don't know if he's going to have the mullet, but now it looks like he is going to have that black and silver suit that was, very famous from the 1993 comic book series. So I certainly hope so. I mean, seeing this really kind of lends to the whole idea that, remember the Codex is burned into Kal-El as a little baby. So that is what the Kryptonians are after him when they come to Earth. They want that. He is Krypton. He has everything that is Krypton. So since he has all of that that technology from Krypton inside of him. Even if he dies, perhaps that is how he comes back to life, is through that codex and the technology that's in him. So that would be my guess, especially looking at the outfit. You see Kryptonian symbols all embedded inside the outfit. So it makes sense to me, and it's a cool way to bring him back.
Jeremy, you want to see an all-black Superman suit?
Yeah, I'm interested because when he tweeted that, was there any text to it, context? Was he like, this is the suit, or was it just a suit that he tweeted?
I think it was just a tease.
Yeah, so I mean, if it is, what if it's the villain's suit? What if it's not his suit? Now, I agree, it probably is his suit, because that would be a messed up bait and switch to do to people to get, so I mean, let's just assume that it is him. I mean, I always thought it was so early in this DC game to do the death of Superman, but I mean, if they're going to do it, does that play into the Flash going, oh my God, Lois Lane's the key? So is he like bad Is he bad Superman in this one, John?
Well, it's hard to tell. I mean, because they're combining a lot of different, very famous storylines from the DC pantheon of the last 25, 30 years. So it could be any number of things. So that's what's kind of exciting, is you see, like, writers like Jeff Johns having an active role now in the films. So I think they're kind of picking and choosing from some of the best and the highlights and melding those into the films. I don't know if it's going to be Flashpoint or Crisis, or how they're going to merge worlds, or what they're going to do with Superman Lives, or the Superman second film, or whatever. So
basically the way I see it is, because there's also a lot of talk of them possibly doing the Injustice arc where he comes back and he's like super bad now. If he's bad and he comes back, I want him to like kind of have his mind lost for a little bit, and let's bring him back to being Superman, because I think it's way too early. We have not seen Henry Cavill's Superman be Superman enough to now turn him into bad Superman. But ultimately, I want him to have his black suit for a little bit and do what they did in the comic book, which is bring his Superman suit
Was
back.
it Superman 3 where Christopher Reeve got exposed?
Yeah,
He got drunk.
He's flicking beans in the bar.
And
He's like
his
flicking
suit's
beans.
all filthy and dirty. Christian, what do you think about this?
That's exactly what I thought of as Superman 3 fighting in the junkyard. So I don't need Superman fighting in the junkyard. It could be cool for a little bit, like Jeremy's saying. If you can do that to where, and then because that's exactly right. We haven't really because I was excited when they said Man of Steel 2 is coming out, because then we get to further explore who he is, what he can do, and then eventually, once they're together, he's going to be the Superman that we know. But I do think that this suit does tease the Black Superman suit. I think that would be okay. You got to have the mullet. Please bring that mullet. I want to see.
I certainly want to see the mullet.
I want to see the mullet.
Mullet equals villain.
Right.
But the thing is, if you go to, I mean, we've already talked about some spoilers here in Batman v Superman, so here comes another one. Like it's that flashback scene when he comes in, and like you said with Flash, when Flash comes in and says it's it's
You
all
were right
about Lois,
about him. It's
but
all
it's
about
then
Lois
it's the
Lane.
flashback scene or the dream sequence when Batman sees Superman.
Sensation of the year back when it was released in 2014. Now, imagine if Gunn did the same for the DC Extended Universe. During a recent Q&A on Gunn's Facebook page, the filmmaker was asked by a commenter what he thought of the latest batch of DC films from Warner Brothers, and which characters within the world he would focus on if given the opportunity. He said, I thought there was some amazing action sequences in Man of Steel, but I haven't seen the other two films. I've had opportunities to make DC films, but I haven't said yes to anything, and not sure I would at this time. I've talked before about which projects appeal to me the most if I was into making one, and it's always Shazam and Metal Man and Swamp Thing and Jonah Hex and a few other DC IPs I've enjoyed for a great deal of my life. It's unclear when exactly Gunn had these opportunities and what, if any, title in their comic line DC offered him as a directing vehicle. While fans ponder what a film would look like in the DCEU under Gunn's leadership, we'll get to see his Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 when it drops in theaters on May 5th, 2017. Christian, would you buy or sell a DC film directed by James Gunn?
I'd buy one of our DC Cinematic Universe with James Gunn for sure. I think one of the reasons that right now, I think I'd rather see it in around, if it's going to happen, in 2, 3, maybe 4 years from now, just because let's Jeff Johns come in, let them get their situation straight over there too, because I haven't found, because you did your piece on Comic-Con HQ, yes?
Yeah.
And where you really broke down that they're trying a new structure here to really get themselves in a position that, like, to see, so we haven't seen that yet, someone come from the Marvel Cinematic Universe jumping over to the DC Cinematic Universe. But if there's one guy I'd like to see do it, it's James Gunn.
I would totally buy buy the idea of a James Gunn doing a DC film, but I could also completely sell the notion that it would ever actually happen. Actually, in kind of way, James Gunn already did. It was called Super. I mean, that felt kind of like a DC, like almost like a Vertigo kind of like weird kind of a thing, and that felt like James Gunn already did. If you haven't seen Super, by the way, check it out. It's totally worth watching. So it sounds to me like he had the opportunity to do it, and he doesn't go into it, which is kind of classy that it is, and talk about it. He doesn't go into why he didn't do it, but it sounds like the door's kind of closed on that, so I would be shocked if this ever happened. So basically, I guess I got to sell. Schnepp, what about you?
I'm going to buy what he said, and I'm also going to buy I love James Gunn because he said Metal Men, he said Swamp Thing, he said
I knew you'd like that.
All the comics that I want to see turned into a cinematic movie, Jonah Hex, all the ones he would do right. Because James Gunn is a sweaty, he's a true comic book fan, and he gets the material. He understands the source material, and also from a story structure, knows how to turn that into a movie. Look at Guardians of the Galaxy. He took a tree and a little raccoon, all these characters that people thought, what is this movie going to be? And it's a gigantic smash hit. It's a series that everyone is looking forward to the second episode of. If DC gave him the option to make a film, I bet you they didn't offer him Shazam or Metal Man or Swamp Thing. I bet you they were like, hey, do you want to do Wonder Woman, or do you want to do Flash? One of the normal, regular DC films. And he was like, I want the out off the curve, the crazy stuff. That's what I want, because I want the freedom to be able to mold it, make it the way I want to make it.
Guardians,
so if you're going to give James Gunn a DC movie, give him Metal Men. I mean, come on, man. I mean, give it to him in 5 years. He would say yes. I just don't think they offered him the right movie.
All right, Jeremy.
James Gunn for Suicide Squad 2. You heard it here. I've been tossing this around in my head since this. I mean, while you guys have been talking, I'm like, was he offered Suicide Squad possibly? It just, I feel like if DC ever had it in their heads, like, hey, we want to kind of have what you had with Guardians of the Galaxy. Do you want to do Suicide Squad? And he was probably like, no, I got other things going on. I would totally buy it. James Gunn doing a DC movie? Absolutely. I mean, I innately want to see him do an ensemble cast like Suicide Squad 2 if he was going to do it. But it doesn't have to be that, because I got excited again when I saw Swamp Thing and Shazam. Those are two that I'm like, I want to see Shazam really badly, and I want to see Swamp Thing really badly, and I want them to be done very well, like Alan Moore's Swamp Thing style.
Yes, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd buy it all, absolutely, without blinking.
All right, what's next?
EW has released a number of new images and behind-the-scenes looks from Tim Burton's next film and adaptation of the Ransom Riggs novel, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. The film stars Asa Butterfield as a young boy who stumbles upon a secret refuge for supernaturally gifted youngsters headed by the mysterious Miss Peregrine, only to learn that the children are in danger from ever-growing malevolent forces led by Samuel L. Jackson. The movie also stars Judi Dench, Chris O'Dowd, Allison Janney, Terrence Stamp, Kim Dickens, and Rupert Everett. It is written by frequent Matthew Vaughn collaborator Jane Goldman and is set to hit theaters on September 30th. Jeremy, buy or sell the new images released for Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children?
I really think that Tim Burton was offered X-Men, passed on it. He's been regretting it ever since, and now he's doing this to show the world what he's got. It's a really intriguing trailer. It's an intriguing premise, and those are intriguing images. And I use the word intriguing in a weird way because it is Tim Burton, and I haven't really been amped for his stuff since a while. No. The images don't show me. I don't know what to make of the images, and that's kind of why I like the images. I'll buy these images.
Kristian?
I'll buy the images for sure. And going off of that point, Tim Burton right now is where Ridley Scott was before The Martian. It's he has not done a movie in a little bit to where we've been excited about, and it's just kind of like, what have you done for me lately, Tim? But this looks like this is right in his wheelhouse. These images are awesome. They look like, if I didn't know who was directing beforehand and I see these images, I know right away that Tim Burton's doing it. And if I don't see the trailer, I go, I don't know. This just looks like another weird Tim Burton movie. But then you see it's Tim Burton's X-Men. That could be fun. That could be interesting. I like this kind of weird time loop thing that they have going on. But these particular images, everything that Tim Burton does well, put into a cool story, could be intriguing, could be something interesting, but it could also be a crap house. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy the images.
I kind of, in the same vein as you, when I look at these images, if I didn't already know who's directing it, I would think one of two names, either Tim Burton or Miyazaki. Like if you look at this, hey, maybe this is his first live action when I look at this. Look, I am not a Tim Burton fan. I'm just not. I got excited for Big Eyes. That didn't work out quite as well as we were hoping. But despite all that, like these images, I think what I like with still images from movies are that they capture a part of the soul of the movie. And sometimes they give you images like that Passengers one that came out the other day. Give you nothing of the soul of the movie.
Right.
I look at these images, even the ones with Tim Burton in them himself, I feel like each one of them kind of communicate a little bit of the soul of the movie. On top of that, look, the trailer, I know the trailer came out months ago, or about a month and a half ago now. I thought the trailer for this thing was just spectacular, way better than I thought. This could be the first Tim Burton movie that in a long time, I should say, that I get really excited about, and I cannot wait for and who doesn't need a little bit of, Miss Green in their life too? So anyway, Schnepp, what did you think about it?
I love these new pictures. I mean, they definitely say Tim Burton. Like his visual stamp is on all of his films, and I agree. His last few films haven't really been strong. I mean, you go back. I just saw Edward Scissorhands at Cinespia, the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Still holds up today. I mean, his classics are classics. So when you see this version of Tim Burton's X-Men is what you're calling it, everyone's kind of like, yeah, it feels like that. And I certainly hope it is, because when his kind of creativity is unleashed, like it seems like from seeing this trailer, we can have a really fun film. And that's what all of these pictures show me. It shows me this is a film that's going to be very visually exciting and fun. So I can't wait to see the film.
All right, one more buy or sell.
20th Century Fox has released a new clip for Morgan featuring stars Kate Mara and Toby Jones, in which they lay out key details about the mysterious title character from the upcoming science fiction thriller. Morgan tells the story of a corporate troubleshooter sent to a remote top-secret location where she is to investigate and evaluate a terrifying accident. She learns the event was triggered by a seemingly innocent human who presents a mystery of both infinite promise and incalculable danger. Morgan also stars the witches Anya Taylor-Joy in the title role, along with Rose Leslie, Boyd Holbrook, Michelle Yeoh, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Paul Giamatti. It is written by Seth Owen, and directed by
That's a new film.
different movie. Seth Owen and directed by Ridley Scott's son, Luke Scott, who makes his feature directorial debut. It opens in theaters on Friday, September 2nd. John Byer saw the new clip for Morgan.
Because of just Toby Jones in this thing, I buy it. I love it. Because you remember I was just saying that I like these stills that kind of communicate a bit of the soul. This small clip kind of gives you the movie in a nutshell, it feels like. But Toby Jones at the end, just the way it feels one way for the first like 40 seconds, explaining this is who Morgan is, this is what we do. And then all of a sudden kind of switches gears. We see this woman getting a throat ripped out. It's like, despite setbacks, we're really thrilled with our progress. It's like I just ate that scene up. I love this clip. I was already excited about this movie. This took my excitement up even more. I cannot wait for this movie. Schnepp, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, when we first saw the trailer, we were like, this feels a lot like Species, mixed with a couple of creepy, hoodie characters. I would say give the little girl a different outfit. She's wearing this hoodie, like that's why she's so angry. I mean, it seems like a
stinky hoodie.
Yeah,
Can you imagine how mad Ashley would be if we just stuck her in a hoodie every day?
Come on, these scientists are not
Very
really
comfortable.
thinking. They're like, here's a bunch of the same hoodies. What's wrong? So yeah, you know what? Toby Jones is the best part of this trailer. I love him as all of his roles that he's been in. He's great. So he really helps sell this flashback kind of like origin story that you get in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the clip. So I'm not a big fan of when they do those clip while somebody's explain-o-vision type of stuff.
Right.
I would have liked to have just maybe seen the footage. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I will buy this clip. I just have to see the whole film to know whether I like the film.
Kristian.
I'm going to buy it also, but how do you know she didn't request those hoodies? You don't know
she
that.
likes
You're right.
them.
You don't know
Hey,
it. Maybe
you're
that's her
right.
taste.
Because you don't like hoodies.
Unbelievable.
Hey, look, all right, I'll take it back. Maybe the little kid likes the hoodies. Whatever.
Stop discriminating against hoodies.
All right.
So I would. I actually loved the clip. I thought that there was like a calm chaos about it because of Toby Jones, the way that he sets it up, and it gave me that Hydra feel. I was ready for him to start screaming "Hail Hydra," but there was something about it to where you just, like you said, Species, which is a classic old school movie, but this is Species with better acting, and you have some really quality actors in there. But I think they're going to set this girl up. That scene, though, when they did flash back and she's just stabbing or ripping out the throat, whatever she's doing, that was terrifying. So this could be something special, and because it's Ridley Scott's kid who's doing this movie, I want to see what his feature film is going to look like, so I buy the clip.
Jeremy.
So are we buying and selling the clip or the excitement for the movie?
The clip.
The clip, I think, is very good. I can't get excited for the movie because I've been too jaded off of the Species and the Splices and those movies where it's like, it's a girl who got an experiment and now she's going nuts.
Right.
But I do agree that Species is a classic because Natasha Henstridge and Doc Ock, how can you not?
Right.
But it's horrible though. But
But it's horrible.
But it's horrible. But this clip is actually really good. I love the actor. What's his
Toby Jones.
Toby Jones.
I love that dude. He's always that. He's someone he's odd. He's like Brad Dourif, where you're like, all right, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, when this guy's talking to you, this guy has secrets behind secrets behind secrets. This guy cut corners to do this experiment. This is not on the books anywhere. But so I like the clip, and I agree with you, where it's like usually the clip that's like, okay, so here's your minute-and-a-half dissertation as to why it's happening. Is usually like, all right, yeah, that's kind of the trailer, but it doesn't show anything new. But I like the execution because I'm just telling you that guy is going to be a creep bag from beginning to end. And I can't wait for that.
Well, hey, listen, guys, as you know, we do this show live every day at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so we got a live chat board. Wendy, what are some of the things people are saying in the chat?
Well, they're talking about the Arrival trailer. And before I say that, they are also saying, Jeremy, they can't see you because you don't have a red background.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I blend into normality. Don't hold it against me. That's why I wore blue today. I'm trying.
All right. The Arrival trailer, the chat says that it looks fantastic, and they're already comparing it to other alien sci-fi movies. Simply Recommended says, thinking a man's District 9. William Satumo says, it feels kind of like an edgier Close Encounters. And Tom Deviney says, Amy Adams finally isn't being a hollow damsel in distress. And for the Sausage Party sequel, I'm not seeing a lot of interest for a sequel from our chat room. College Movie Man says, no clue where a sequel would go. Then again, I didn't see anything in the movie coming either, so why not?
All right, well, listen, guys, lots of movies open all the time, and we're going to talk about what is opening this week, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. So, Ashley, what are some of the films opening this week?
We've got a couple. First up is War Dogs, arms dealer Ephraim Diveroli, Jonah Hill, and David Pacow's Miles Teller supply weapons for U.S. allies in Afghanistan. Also coming out is Ben-Hur. A prince, Jack Houston, endures years of slavery to take vengeance on his adopted brother, Toby Kebbell, a Roman officer who falsely accused him of treason.
All right, Jeremy, you've got these two films coming out this week. I know most of us at this table have already seen Ben-Hur. However, there is a review embargo, so we can't go too much into it. I will say, though, that Ben-Hur is one of my all-time favorite films, the original, I should say, at any rate. So I have been very curious. I love the addition of Houston and Kebbell in the cast. Morgan Freeman, very rarely a mistake to put Morgan Freeman in something because he brings that, that cachet with him, if you will, and he usually does a pretty solid job. So I've been looking forward to it, but I gotta say, the one I've been looking forward to the most is War Dogs. There's something about this film that has appealed to me right from the fact that it's based on a true story. I love these performers. I think Miles Teller, despite the fact that he got caught up in the Fantastic Four fiasco and whatever that young adult novel series is that he's very publicly said he didn't even want to be detergent. That he never really wanted to be a part of in the first place. I think the dude is a hell of a performer when he's got the right material to work with. This seems like the right material, so I'm looking forward to it. But Jeremy, out of these two, which ones were you most looking forward to?
I was actually looking forward to War Dogs also because I saw Whiplash and I know what Miles Teller can do. It's the director of The Hangover. Hangover is a straight up comedy. Todd Phillips. Yeah, straight up comedy. This is a true story that will have comedy in it. That's not a straight up comedy. And I'm always interested when they weave that because life is absurd and it does have comedy in it. Like those true stories that never have comedy, it always just kind of it walls me off. I'm like, life's not like that. People don't always just talk all serious all the time. Maybe I just hang around clowns. I don't know. But War Dogs was the one that I was always looking forward to most.
Kristian, out of the two, which one were you looking forward to most?
I'm going to go along with the crew and say War Dogs because of those elements you guys are bringing up. I think to see Todd Phillips do a movie like this, but also it's Jonah Hill, because when Jonah Hill is in roles like this is where he shines. Like he can obviously put together the humor, but when he has to be serious and when he's got to be dramatic, like you look at stuff that he did in both Moneyball, but most notably in Wolf of Wall Street is to me his best performance ever. I could see him pulling out something like that, and he seems like he's the more outrageous one in this movie. And it's interesting to see Miles Teller, who's going to be the straight man between the two of them. But Miles Teller, I think that anytime you see the chat room and they're talking about Miles Teller, there's something about his personality that just irks people. Yeah. But he can pull off great performances. Right. Now, whether or not it's Whiplash or you look what he's in that trailer for the Mancini movie, this kid has the goods when he shows up. So it looks like he's going to show up in this one. For Ben-Hur, the trailers haven't been that fantastic. I do like Toby Kebbell and Houston a lot. I just don't know if this movie is going to be necessary. The last trailer was a little better, but the Swords and Sandals epics have not really delivered over the last 5-10 years, the ones that have been coming out. So I don't know if this is going to be the one that does it.
Schnepp.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with all you guys. War Dogs is the one. The first trailer felt really off to me, and it was very much too comedic. The second trailer kind of grabbed me a little bit more so, and I definitely want to see a real more factual based movie about these two young guys who basically sold arms, so I think it's a gross story but then told with some humor to it. I'm looking forward to that. Ben-Hur, the movie's got a dash in the title. We talked about that earlier. Also Morgan,
That's dead giveaway.
yeah, dead giveaway. We know what's happening. Leverage, Ben-Hur. Morgan Freeman with that sign, Earth 9000, Battlefield Earth. Leverage, we're looking for the gold. Whatever. I'm not going to see Ben-Hur.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we're going to move on to our mailbag segment. Look, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to bring up on the show, you can email us anytime at collidervideo@gmail.com. Send them on in, and we'll get around to as many of them as we can. And we got a couple this week. So right now, Ashley, what do we got in the mailbag?
Luke M. writes, "Hey Collider crew, love the show and watch it daily. Keep up the good work. Question, maybe I'm being naive, but how the F are bad movies still being made? If you're a film director, wouldn't you just study all the past great movies and directors and learn from them? Even if you have to fake it till you make it, fans would still get good movies instead of being let down. When I think of The Force Awakens, for example, J.J. Abrams didn't bring anything really original, but he used what worked and we got some great entertainment. When I look at B vs. S and Suicide Squad, I'm thinking, how could anyone screw this up? Or is there something else behind the scenes? Our studio's interfering with directors' creativity and vision, and then we as the fans get stuck with a hot mess."
Because making movies is easy. No, I mean, look, that's one thing that you and I have talked about this a lot before, Schnepp, is that I think a lot of people, what they don't understand is they see some good movies and they think, oh, we are so blessed and so spoiled by such high-ranking, talented people making these movies for us that we begin to think there's nothing to it and that it's easy. And look, every studio, when they have a new movie, they think their movie's going to be good. Every director, when he steps behind the camera for the first time, he's got a script, everything's ready to go. They think their movie's going to turn out good. The writers think their script is good. And it's not until you start putting the film together, film as an art is so moldable and so fluid that way that it can be great source material and not translate well. You can think you're heading in the right direction, and then when it starts being pieced together and then you see, you realize this didn't turn out the way that we wanted it to. And there's no magic formula. There is no magic formula of saying, oh, just look at what the great guys did before. Well, what did they do before? How did they do it? And what creative impulses drove those decisions? See, these are all things that go into it that prevent it from being just a flat-out formula that just go A plus B equals C. It doesn't work that way, and it's super hard. So I don't know, Schnepp, as a filmmaker yourself, a guy who has directed and want to write my script?
Who won't be writed scripts?
Righted many scripts. Like, how would you answer a question like this?
Well, I like what you said, because there is no true formula to it. Every single different film is a different adventure. You're working with a same crew or different crew. It depends on the interlocking parts. It's a puzzle that begins with the script. Then you go into pre-production, production, and then the last two parts of it are editing and music and sound. I mean, all of it comes together to create that great film or okay film or horrible film. So there is no magic formula. It's kind of funny how he was pointing to, DC films as the hot mess. And then, these other films is look at these guys. They made this. Why can't you just do that? It's like, well, I mean, look at J.J. Abrams and the Star Wars The Force Awakens. I mean, they went through so many different drafts. If you get the Force Awakens book, the art of Force Awakens, there's all these incredible ideas and things that didn't make it into the final film, where when you see that, for me, I'm like, man, I wish I saw those red Star Destroyers with weird orbs and stuff. There's those kinds of things that didn't make it into the final product. Whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, all you're left with is the final film. There is no formula to make a great movie. It's a procedural thing, and we're lucky when we get an amazing film.
Now, Jeremy, you get positive reviews to everything you review, so maybe this will be difficult for you, but why aren't all movies fantastic?
I could say this. I think Kristian and I have been just twitching our fingers over here. So I have a lot to say, and it's all about who he picks first, and he picked me first, Kristian.
I know. It's true.
But all right, everything you guys said is completely true. It's hard to make a film. It's a task I would never want to take on myself. Absolutely. In fact, I would say 95 to 90-something% of the time, it's someone who, a collective of people who thought it was good. They tried to make it good. It didn't come out good. But there are those times. The past few Paranormal Activity movies, I'll just name them right now. They knew that if they spent $15 million on this piece of... Can I curse on here?
One time.
If they spent $15 million one time on this piece of shit, they knew it would make $30 million. They didn't have to try. They didn't have to do anything. And that schlock is out there. That's why horror movies, generally speaking, are it's the genre that's the least good, which is funny because in 2016, there are 2 great horror movies out right now. That
And a
came
third
out.
on the way.
Yeah, and a third on the way. And
yeah.
so, yeah, I'm hoping. I haven't seen Don't Breathe yet, but I'm hoping.
A number of people in the office have, and they're just raving about it.
All right. But so horror movies are the least expensive to make, and it's almost, I don't want to say guarantee, but it's the least gamble that they will take in pumping out a crappy horror movie. So that does happen out there also, where they just know that they don't have to try because people buy tickets for it. So if you don't want it to happen, don't go. That's the best I can say.
Kristian?
But it's also the question, who determines it's a bad movie? Do you determine it's a bad movie by saying, oh, it didn't make any money? Well, then I throw Dread at you. And if you say, well, it's a good movie because it made a lot of money, I throw Transformers 4 at you. So it's like you can't determine what's a bad movie. Even you look at something to maybe some people thought Batman v Superman was terrible. Some people thought it was pretty good. So you don't know, you can't really determine that, well, you're making a bad movie, but I say it's good. So if you have one person say, or like 10 people saying, this is bad, we're never going to make another movie. What about the other 10 that think it's good? So it's too hard to determine, what's bad, what's good. And like you said, John, when you go out there and when you start, everyone wants to make the best movie possible. Even if you're making a movie just for money, which it's a business. Everyone wants to make money, but there are some people that are just trying to get the dollars Michael Bay. So you're just trying to go through Michael Bay. So you just keep trying to go through and get this money. I think that overall that you can't determine what is a bad or good movie. You just have to go with your passion.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, look, we are running out of time here, so we are going to skip our final mailbag question, but we know a lot of people have been queuing up who watch the show live who've been trying to send in Twitter questions. So we're going to skip now right to some Twitter questions, get a couple of those in before we end today's show. So Ashley, what have you picked out of the Twitter chat?
All right. Angela Lugo writes, what is a movie you know is terrible that you love and no matter what, you will defend it? For me, it's Pootie Tang.
A lot of people like Pootie Tang.
Yeah, right.
Louis C.K. wrote that.
Yeah, Louis C.K.
There are 2 that usually come to mind for me. One is Armageddon. Armageddon is one of my total guilty pleasures, and the other one is, and you have to see it, and I swear to God we keep talking about it, but we will set up a viewing night here at the office. Ice Baby, Cool as Ice, with Vanilla Ice. This is one of the most unintentionally entertaining films you can ever possibly see. So those are the 2 I'll go with. Schnepp, what about you?
I will back you up on that because I saw it after you were raving about it. It does suck, but in a very fun way.
Yeah.
I'm going to say John Borman's Zardoz and David Lynch's Dune. Those are films I absolutely love, even though a lot of people don't love them.
You break my heart. You break my heart. Flash.
No.
Come on. Flash Gordon is
But
the best.
I think
movie.
Flash is the greatest film ever.
If you go back, come on, it's horribly
it's amazing.
wonderful.
It's beautifully awesome.
It's beautifully, horribly awesome. I love Flash Gordon, but I understand. I tried to make Ellis watch it like 4 years ago. Had never seen it before.
He didn't like it?
No, we thought it was horrendous. But
that
that's
hurts.
someone watching it now in their 30s. It doesn't.
Dive, Hawkman!
You look just like him. So yeah, I'd have to say Flash Gordon.
What about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm miming you. I'm mimicking you on Dune. Absolutely. I grew up on Dune. I love Dune. Director hates Dune, and I don't hate Dune.
I
just
love
something about Dune. I just love
All
Dune.
the internal voices. Is he truly the
Oh yeah,
Kwiat's
it's like he is the Muad'Dib. That's
right. Put your hand in the box.
He is the Kwisatz Haderach.
That's right.
You have to love that. The other one, I'm very self-aware that is not at all a good movie, but I know every line to Van Damme's Street Fighter, and I will
Nice.
defend it forever. Every line in there. Know it by heart.
All right, let's take 2 more, Ashley.
All right. Anthony Crosby writes, what's a good time you've had with a movie drunk?
Oh, I don't ever go.
I have honestly never been drunk. So I can't answer that question.
Boy, I want to say I was drunk at Transformers 4, but I unfortunately wasn't.
I felt
You
drunk.
wanted to get drunk after we came out of the theater. You're like, let's hit the bar.
No, actually, we're going to see Transformers 5 drunk. That we've already all decided that. So
yeah, I think when I saw Under Siege 2, I felt like I was drunk because I was laughing so hard at it. But I don't know if I've ever been hammered at a movie.
You know what's funny is if you're going to be drunk, you need a lot of things happening to keep your attention. When the movie slows up, like my friends and I threw a party and I was like, you guys got to see Devil's Advocate. And then it ground the party to a halt. They're like, never do this again. You're never deciding anything. I'm like, but it's good.
Oh, here's one. Back when I was in college, Dead Alive, that Peter Jackson film.
Yes.
Saw it drunk with a giant crew of drunk people, and we were screaming and jumping around when he brought out the giant like roto-rooter, lawnmower and just burning up the zombies at the end. People were just up in the jumping around.
Yeah, any of the like Zack Snyder's The Walking Dead. These are movies that are perfectly enjoyable sober, but that Mortal Kombat, something that has things happen. They're a lot of fun drunk.
Oh, you mean Dawn of the Dead?
Dawn of the Dead.
That's what I meant. Dawn of the Dead. Sorry.
All right, last question of the day.
All right, Jeremy, maybe you can answer this one. Ethan Canistro writes, do you have to move to LA to be a movie critic?
No, not at all. There's a lot of people around on the internet that just basically what you need is a camera and internet access. Hopefully you have audio technology too.
And a movie theater somewhere nearby.
And a movie theater somewhere near you. And at that point, if you have that, you can talk into a camera and you too can do exactly what we do.
No, I mean, I started my whole career from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Not even one of the top 3 biggest cities in Canada, but just had a movie theater. I had internet access. Away you go.
Why not?
It's funny because Jeremy and I were talking about this the other day. Like when we started out, like YouTube movie critics the platform just not taken serious at all, and the platform has changed as where you certainly can be, and the voices of many YouTube critics they're invited to press screenings, they're invited to junkets and film sets, so it's a different landscape now. So like Jeremy's saying, if and not even if you want to be in front of the camera, write. You don't have to be in LA to write. You can submit places. I know people that write for various websites that are in different places in the country, for sure, different places in the world, that write for parts of the different very popular websites.
Schnepp, do you think someone's got to live here?
No, you can live anywhere on the planet, like you said. As long as you have internet access, you can beam that all around the globe.
All right, guys, well, that'll do it for us for this installment of Collider Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Want to thank the people sitting around the table with me. First of all, sitting on my immediate left, Mr. Jon Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
Hey, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram, just at Jon Schnepp.
Right beside me, Mr. Kristian Harloff. Kristian, where can people find you?
You can find me Twitter and Instagram at Kristian Harloff. Find me on Thursday, Jedi Council, with this character, John Campea, this character, Jeremy Jahns. Trisha Barr from StarWars.com is going to be here, and a very special Address the Council from Mr. Sunday Movies.
Oh, very nice. And, of course, our special guest today, Mr. Jeremy Jahns. Jeremy, he'll start his own applause.
I started my own round of applause. Nothing is douchier than that,
Where
except
can
my
people
hair
find
today. You can find me on YouTube at Jeremy Jahns, Instagram, Twitter, all at Jeremy Jahns.
Of course, a lovely Miss Ashley Mova in her own New York-style apartment over there. Ashley, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
And, of course, you can find me on Facebook and on Twitter simply at Jon Campea. And watch Jon Schnepp's and my show, Film HQ, on the network Comic-Con HQ, which has been blowing up even before Mark Hamill's show has started, before Nathan Fillion's show started. And I'm told we are the #1 show on the network there.
Nice.
As a matter of fact,
Some
Film HQ.
flavor.
Check out our show there. And don't forget, guys, later on today here on Collider Video, make sure you come back and watch our horror-based show, the genre film, the genre show. I'm having a rough day today. Nightmares, being hosted, of course, by our very own Clark Wolf with Perry Nemiroff, Mr. Jon Schnepp, Mark Riley, and many more. Come back and check that out. That'll be up on our channel a little bit later today. So special thanks to everybody in the room, and special thanks to you guys for watching us today. Thanks a lot for joining us. My name's Jon Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.